Good morning from the Things Conference. I'm Alan Proethus from Capstone Partners, and I'm here today with Alistair Fulton, the General Manager of Wireless and Sensing Products at Semtech. Good morning, Alistair.
Good morning, nice to see you.
And welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's incredible, the energy here. I know the keynote just exited, and it's just, if you could just bottle this energy and sell it, it'd be an incredible thing.
Or Klein, Vinky, and Johan.
That's right.
That would be a benefit to the ecosystem for sure.
That's right. But you can't talk about LoRa without talking about Semtech as the godfather of the whole ecosystem and technology. And you've had an incredible year. 2019 ended with, I think, 135 million cumulatively shipped chips for LoRa?
Connected.
Connected chips?
We think. It's always a bit of an estimate on how many have been connected. We know how many we've shipped, but we think about 135 million are connected at this point.
That's an incredible number. Is that actually more than any cellular LPWAN technology, I'm wondering?
I don't know. It's hard. There are lots and lots of numbers out there, but all I can say is that that's 135 million devices connected rather than chips sitting in a warehouse somewhere. So we're very pleased with the success that our partners are seeing.
It's incredible progress, and I think it's incredible as well as how international in that anywhere you go, you're going to find...
Well, look around you. I think this is 40 countries worth of people with pretty much every solution you could possibly imagine in this room.
It's just walking around the show before our conversation, I was amazed at some of the devices and sensors I'm seeing. You know, and having said that, you know, I know the number one topic that comes up, I know in my conversations with IoT, is about scale.
Yep.
You know, how do you go faster to get more for everyone connected and doing all the things we've been talking about for all these years that IoT can bring in terms of a benefit? I mean, how do you see how we're going to solve those challenges going forward in 2020?
Well, I think how do you achieve scale is a great question, and the LoRa WAN ecosystem has been through evolution at breakneck speed. I mean, most other technology ecosystems take a decade to get to where we've got in 5 years. And I think that process starts with establishing a solid technical foundation. It goes through a phase of simplification, and I think IoT in general is starting to see faster adoption because people have realized, firstly, customers don't really care about technology, they care about business results, and secondly, developers like things simple, and they'll gravitate towards technologies which are readily usable. So I think we've been through that phase now. You saw a number of announcements this morning, soft modem, join server, packet broker. These are all things which remove complexity from the development process. So I think we're entering a phase of really breakout growth. And as I think Vinka said on stage today, I've seen in my short time in the ecosystem, customers go from talking about thousands to tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands to now even millions. I had a conversation just the other day with a customer looking at deploying 10 million sensors over the course of the next couple of years. And that says that the technology is being broadly accepted. It helps to be open. We have embraced open source in the open community from day one. It helps to be flexible, and it helps to enable a broad ecosystem in the way that we're proud to be part of. Because the ecosystem is going to think of more things than any one participant in this world could ever do. And you see the pace of change, and you see the variety here, as you commented. Every application you could think of. Yeah,
well, ecosystem is certainly everything, and judging by the crowd here, it's amazing of what a powerful ecosystem has come together. Even compared to just maybe 2 years ago, if you were to walk around here, just based on what I've heard, and then you see the amount of engagement is the way I would describe it.
Well, you know what the difference is when you walk around and you look at these devices. A couple of years ago, there were lots of company names, lots of smaller names really starting out down this path, and lots of devices which were experimental at an experimental stage. Look around you. The names that have come into the ecosystem, the maturity of the devices, including the devices from all of those smaller participants, the growth rate these companies are seeing is nothing short of incredible. And I came here last year, and it was amazing then. And this year is kind of a step beyond. And each year I think, well, how can you actually organize a conference this well in such a short period of time? It's nothing short of remarkable.
And one of the great joys of ecosystem is you didn't have to organize this conference, of course. And thank goodness for that.
Well, I think technology companies learned the hard way that the way that you drive innovation is by embracing openness and enabling others to think of things that you never could. And Semtech, I mean, you described us as the godfather. We rather think of ourselves as the servant of the ecosystem. It's our job to provide tools. It's our job to try and simplify things. It's our job to enable people to make money with the technology and grow. And we take that role very seriously. And we're humble about it as well. We are driven by the ecosystem, and our goal is to enable the ecosystem. So.
Well, we can see you doing that too. And speaking of which, you just announced, I think 2 days ago, announcement around smart home and LoRa.
Yeah.
Maybe you could just talk about that for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really about extending the power of LoRaWAN to smart home applications. There are obviously a number of technologies which are well established in that space, which, I mean, they're deficient in one way or the other. They either don't support a good user experience because the join, rejoin, it's just messy. And at the end of the day, in smart home applications, you have to plan on your child or your grandmother being able to deal with the technology. The other thing is that most of the technologies available today are really very limited in range or have serious security issues. And obviously, LoRaWAN has neither of those. So we see opportunity to extend the strength of LoRaWAN into that space. The LoRa Smart Home product is a tailored product for that space. It's designed to be very price competitive with other alternative solutions today, while delivering a range of additional benefits. And we're seeing extremely strong interest. It was actually, as I said, we're driven by the ecosystem. That was a direct response to demand from the ecosystem to enter that space and to provide solutions to smart home problems.
I think it's a great advancement of LoRa because when you talk to people about smart homes, they're like, "Oh, we've been doing this for years," and I'm like, "Yeah, if you have a master's degree in electrical engineering, you've been doing it for 20 years."
Yeah.
But you're right. For the average person, if you don't want to spend all your time being the CIO of the household, it's been very difficult to really experience it in a cost-effective, efficient way. And I think what you're talking about is exactly what enables that.
Well, people talk about the consumerization of IT. People are like simple. They like simple at home. They like simple at work. They don't want to get into the technology. There are very few people like you and I who are quite fascinated by it, and it's very easy to forget. People care about results and outcomes, whether that's a financial outcome in a business or whether it's the fact that they know where their dog is. That's what people care about. And our job in the technology industry is to deliver solutions to those problems without ever showing the complexity behind it. I mean, it's the adage of the swan. It looks nice and smooth on top, but you hide away all the complexity underneath.
Yeah, plus the average attention span for all of us is dropping consistently per year. So the attention span to actually figure these things out simply does not exist anymore.
Indeed. What was that?
Exactly. Anyway, Alistair, I know it's a busy day today, but I just want to wrap up with, we've been talking about the promises of IoT for so long.
Yeah.
It feels like we're really building to that tipping point of truly experiencing some of those great benefits we've always written about, read about, dreamed about, talked about. What do you see happening this year for LoRa and IoT in general? How will this year be different?
I mean, I think LoRa is but part of IoT, and lest we forget, LoRaWAN as technology is about getting from data from A to B. But what I see in the IoT today, and I've been in this space like you for the majority of my working life, and over the years, I've waited and waited and waited, and I almost have to pinch myself now to believe what I'm seeing. It's the dream of the IoT, really, to me, has always been being able to make better decisions with better data sets. And ultimately, the goal of those decisions is to optimize the consumption of resources. So the thing I think that we really need to focus on is how do we use these technologies to solve real-world problems, like overusage of water or fertilizers in the agricultural system, like forest fires, like human transit issues, human health issues. That's what I look forward to seeing in 2020. People actually starting to use these technologies in a mass way to solve real-world problems. I think for all of us, that's been the dream.
You don't always hear new technology and real-world problem solving in the same sentence, but it's really glad to hear it today. But Alistair Fulton, Semtech, thank you for joining us.
Great pleasure. Thanks, Alan.